the 12th of October 2012, and this is your Primetime News Bulletin. A very good evening. I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. First, a look at the stories making headlines tonight.
Lecturers who reported to work today say that the government should implement the agreed points. UNP decides not to attend the rally organized by the Bhikkhu Front against the executive presidency. And Nobel Peace Prize awarded to the European Union.
The Federation of University Teachers Association emphasizes that it is the responsibility of the government to safeguard the trust placed in it. FUTA convened a media briefing in Colombo this morning to explain the current situation.
Everyone said that to reach a solution on this, we would need a proper approach. One thing that Minister Basil Rajapaksa asked us to do was to trust his word. Now I have taken a big risk because I did it without the approval of my FUTA colleagues. But I believe this word. Tomorrow a no-confidence motion could be brought against me. I have taken that risk. However, it is the responsibility of this government to decide whether it is going to safeguard the trust I have placed in them.
Basil Rajapaksa mahatmyage මැදිහත් වීමෙන් අප වෙත දෙන ලද ලිපියක්
The trade union action is still on. The letter given to us through the intervention of Minister Basil Rajapaksa and the joint statement with PB Jayasundara were taken into consideration to temporarily suspend the trade union action launched by FUTA. That is why members of FUTA returned to lecture halls today, while some will return on Monday. The government must now show us how civilized they are. The government knows that we halted our battle with much pride after we reached this decisive turning point, with this struggle being taken forward as a people's struggle. The country knows that there is no reason for us to be on the losing side. The struggle will be made stronger. We have laid a strong foundation for this, and everyone is aware of it.
The 3-month-long university lecturers' strike has been suspended based on several agreements reached between the lecturers and the government. A joint statement was issued today in this regard.
The government and the Federation of University Teachers Association separately released the joint statement containing the agreements they had reached. The statement issued by the Department of Government Information reads that the decision to call off the strike was reached on the basis of several agreements. Among these agreements are the strengthening of the Mahinda Chintaneya's policy to make Sri Lanka an education hub and the invalidation of circulars named by the lecturers as obstacles to university lecturers' welfare. Another agreement reached was to obtain the support of faculty boards and senate councils in determining the nature of leadership training given to university students. The government and FUTA have agreed that private institutions will be allowed to use university resources and that agreements which have been reached between the Ministry of Higher Education and private institutions can only be implemented with the approval of faculty boards and senate councils. The statement issued by FUTA states that both parties have agreed to implement the written agreement reached following discussions with the Secretary to the Ministry of Finance and Planning. It also states that the government agreed to present a cabinet paper which would increase government expenditure on education as part of the discussion process.
University lecturers who decided to suspend their trade union action reported to work this morning.
The Federation of University Teachers Association said that academic activities that had been at a standstill for over 3 months would now return to normal. This is the manner in which students arrived at the Sri Jayawardhanapura University this morning. Academic activities at the Colombo University also recommenced today. Meanwhile, lecturers at the University of Kelaniya engaged in a discussion this morning. Subsequent to the discussion, they announced that academic activities will recommence from Monday. The lecturers at the University of Ruhuna also engaged in a discussion this morning. This was the situation at the Rajkot University today.
It's time now for the newspaper cartoon of the day.
The United National Party has decided not to participate in a public rally organised by the United Bhikkhu Front, which is to be held at Hyde Park, Colombo on the 18th of this month. UNP General Secretary Tisatha Nayaka said that this decision was arrived at during a meeting of the UNP Working Committee today.
The UNP Working Committee convened at the party headquarters Sirikota in Pitakotte under the auspices of party leader Ranil Wickramasinghe. It was decided at this meeting to hold the UNP's annual convention on the 1st of December at Sirikota. General Secretary Tisatha Nayaka added that the report of the committee appointed to look into the concluded provincial council election also came under discussion at this meeting. No one from the UNP will participate at the rally scheduled to be held on the 18th at Hyde Park. This is because there are several divisive issues regarding this meeting. We decided that this rally is not relevant to the UNP because there is a separate opposition protest movement and a separate opposition protest program. According to the UNP constitution, we only participate in rallies that have the approval of the UNP Working Committee. A report was submitted regarding the provincial council elections in the eastern, north central and Sabaragamuwa provinces. This is the report of the committee headed by Attorney at Law Daya Palpola. The recommendations of this committee were also submitted to the Working Committee today. It was decided today to discuss action to be taken regarding these recommendations at a later date. The report on the concluded provincial council elections was presented by Suranimala Rajapaksa. It was mentioned that the Sinhalese Buddhist voter base needs to be increased and that this is the cause of this defeat. The party convention was also discussed. If local government representatives are participating in the convention, they must submit their applications. This is something new. It wasn't a requirement before. It was decided that for this convention, applications that have been submitted will be considered and only afterwards would they be called to attend the convention. Also, the Working Committee decided at Sirikota today that no one from the UNP would participate in the public rally organised by the United Bhikkhu Front to be held on the 18th. MPs Sajid Premadasa, Wanjit Madhuma Bandara, Palitharangi Bandara, Muzambil and Kabir Hashim were of the view that such a decision should not be taken. Only MP Mangala Samaravira spoke for this decision. Nevertheless, the party decided that we should not participate at the rally on the 18th. The Sinhalese Buddhist voter base has crumbled. We have lost 74% of this country who are Sinhalese Buddhists. Our Sinhala voter base has fallen to 22%. In this backdrop, this decision is not appropriate. We have to put the Mahasangha in the forefront in this journey.
In
related news here on News First, the United Bhikkhu Front notes that the rally Let's Unite to Defeat the Executive is being held on the 18th as there is a public movement building up in the country for the abolishment of the executive presidency.
Issuing a communique, the United Bhikkhu Front says that religious leaders, political party representatives and civil society activists will participate in this rally on the 18th at Hyde Park in Colombo. The communique notes that the main objective of this rally is to create a platform for public movement devoid of all differences in order to abolish the executive presidency and introduce a new constitution. The United Bhikkhu Front notes that the executive presidency that was introduced to the 1978 constitution has been the bane of this country, and it is satisfying to note that the people have also realized this now.
Meanwhile, the UNP Working Committee, which met today, issued a special communique.
The communique notes that a Bhikkhu organization has used the name of the United National Party to hold a meeting at Hyde Park in Colombo on the 18th of this month. The Working Committee notes that the party has no connection with this organization and does not support its programs. The communique also noted that disciplinary action could be taken under the party's constitution on those who engage with groups that go against the party's decisions. It adds that a program which goes beyond the slogan "Abolish the Executive" titled Opposition Protest is already being carried out. The special communique issued by the UNP Working Committee also notes that the party hopes to begin discussions with the alliance being formed by Sarath Fonseca on abolishing the executive presidency.
In the meantime, former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca requests the public to make their way to Hyde Park in Colombo on the 18th for justice and freedom.
The rally will be held at Hyde Park on the theme A Law-Abiding Rule, a Disciplined Country and a Just Society. Awareness programs in this regard are taking place these days by distributing handbills and through meetings. We invite all those in the opposition to join us to defeat this corrupt government and dictatorship. We cordially invite the people who have been subjected to suppression and unjust acts to join us. Meanwhile, the United Artists Union also expressed their views in this regard. There's a democratic right to speech, the right to gather and the right to attend. We all have that right. Anyone can attend anywhere. We must exercise this right. No one can tell us not to attend an opposition meeting.
International White Cane Day falls on the 15th of this month. The first flag of the flag campaign launched by the Sri Lanka Visually Impaired Graduates Association in line with International White Cane Day was pinned on President Mahinda Rajapaksa yesterday.
A function in this regard was held at Temple Trees. The main intention of the flag campaign is to collect funds for the welfare of visually impaired students. President Mahinda Rajapaksa engaged in a cordial discussion with the members of the Sri Lanka Visually Impaired Graduates Association.
Around 1,000 families use the Aluttava tank for agricultural purposes in the Gurugadalla area in Madaragiriya. The tank has a capacity of 2,000 cubic acres, and the destruction that is taking place close to it has posed a grave threat to its existence. This is primarily due to clearing 150 acres of land on the banks of this tank by a certain group for an illegal cultivation. Our village has turned into a desert. Before this, the village was surrounded by a thick forest. We cannot live here anymore. Earlier we had water. Now we have nothing. The state has spent over 10 million rupees on this tank, but now the bund has been destroyed because the relevant authorities turned a blind eye to the acts of the illegal farmers. The group that is illegally farming within this reserve has also damaged the banks of this tank while attempting to protect their crops from flooding. Because of this, a number of farmers have lost their only source of income, as the 2,000 acres of land that depend on water from this tank have dried up. Is it justifiable to inconvenience so many traditional farmers in order to fulfill the requirements of a small group of illegal cultivators? District Secretary of Polonnaruwa, this one is over to you.
United National Party parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva, speaking at a media briefing in Colombo today, said that those who acted as brokers for Sri Lanka to invest in the collapsed Greek economy should be revealed.
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ කතා කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැති නිසා අපි කතා කරන මාධ්‍යයට. පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ අපිට මේ බොරු නියෝග දාලා ජනතාවට සත්‍ය හෙළි කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් මොන මිනිහද මෙහෙම කරන්නේ? මිනිස්සු ග්‍රීක ආයතන වලින් දුවනවා.
Who would do such a thing? People are running away from Greek investments. The value of Greek bonds are next to nothing. However, Sri Lanka has gone and invested there. We wanted to know this during the adjournment debate. Who are the local agents of these brokers? The brokers are in America and Europe. Who represents them here in Sri Lanka? Who are they? Because they cannot answer these questions, they came up with baseless arguments and did not allow us to bring this up.
තරව්කාරයෝ ඉන්නේ ඇමරිකාවේ යුරෝපේ ඔවුන් වෙනුවෙන් ලංකාවේ පැන හිටින්නේ කවුද?